welcome. Today I have an art tag and I got the inspiration from, it's called Paper Cuts by Michelle Boyer, Boyer, and I looked at it and I thought, well, I might be able to do something similar, so thought I'd give it a try. So I started out with, this is a new paper for me, and I find that it really does a lot easier with blending colors than the mixed media paper. And it's Strathmore Bristol is what the name of it is. And it's a smooth surface, and I had a lot easier time with it. Anyway, so I'm starting out with like a half a sheet of it, and I'm just blending some colors, some fallish colors. I had picked raspberry, spiced marmalade, worn lipstick, crackling campfire, rusty hinge, wilted violet, and vintage photo. So once I got the whole page covered, just kind of randomly in spots, I cut out some leaves with my Cricut just to kind of have a stencil. And then I just started taking those same colors and just moving them around the page, and some of them would kind of go off the page, some would just be coming onto the page. So I just kind of move them around. So I'm going to show you how I did that with my first color, vintage photo. And then for the other colors, I'll just probably do one leaf on them. And then you'll see the end with them all together. So that was the vintage photo, and now I'm using wilted violet, which also was in the background. I don't remember if I mentioned wilted violet, but it's also in the background. And I think that's probably, well, that was either crackling campfire. Yeah, that was crackling campfire because that was spiced marmalade. And then this is picked raspberry. And that's the final sheet. And I thought it just turned out beautiful. And so I stuck it back on my Cricut, and I cut out some frames and 2 tags out of that half sheet of the Bristol paper. And so now I'm going to make some leaves to go on my tag. This is just a stamp I've had for a long time. I probably got it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And so I stamped it with the Versamark, and then I have some of that's micro, that is the embossing glaze. I'm just trying to remember the name of the color of it. I'll have it in the description. And once I have embossed it, I cut it out. And then this one I have cut out with my Cricut, and I kind of added some holes to it so it kind of would look, I like Tim Holtz when he has his that are, I think he calls his tattered leaves. But I don't have a Sizzix, so I can't see buying a Sizzix when I have a Cricut. So I get some ink on there, and then I'm just putting clear embossing powder on it. And so I'm embossing, I probably emboss it 3 or 4 times at least, because I just add more color and then I emboss it again. And I really like that because it not only added color and shimmer because of the embossing powder, but it also kind of gave it a little bit of texture. I think that might have been that carved pumpkin spray. So that would be wild honey, picked raspberry, and carved pumpkin used on this leaf. And I'm just adding a little bit of color into the background of that leaf, just so it wasn't white. And I don't even use the other leaf that was on there. So I'm making 2 tags, but you're just going to kind of follow me on one so it doesn't take so much time to go through both tag making. And so here I'm using my pot of gold and just giving some gold spatter. And then I'm going to dry that. And I'm going to use my collage medium to stick on the leaves because they're pretty, well, they were thick already, but now they've got layers and layers of embossing powder on it. And then I'm just going to put the other one on top of it so I kind of have them layered. And I'm going to ink the edges a little bit with Vintage Photo. And I have a stamp. I'm not sure if this is the Field Notes or Eccentric from Stampers Anonymous, Tim Holtz. It's one of those two. I'll have it in the description though. And I'm taking this stamp and I'm going to take some translucent texture paste and just going to add it to the very top and the very bottom. And not really evenly. little for the bottom. And once I get that on, I just have to let it dry. And as you can see, it's clear. You can still read the perfection, still see the leaves, but it just kind of gives a little bit of shine and texture. And I'm just going to add a couple pieces of ephemera. I'm thinking this is probably from the Field Notes ephemera packet from Tim Holtz. I'm just kind of edging up darkening the edges with some black StazOn ink. I think the 1913 was stamped on there. I think it was looked like a little tag, and I stamped on it. And so the tag is done, and so the last step is just creating a ribbon that's going to go through the top. And I'm doing 2 of them since I actually did make 2 tags, but they look the same. And so I've got some purple down there, I've got some orange, add a little bit more orange, and a little bit more purple. And once I have it all colored, then I just dry it. And this is seam binding, and it holds ink really well. So I just kind of scrunch it up and dry it, and scrunch it again and again. And once it's dry, I just take it and loop it through the hole. And once I have that on there, I got a final picture coming up. But I love this. I thought the colors turned out great. I think paper cuts for this example. And please subscribe if you haven't, and give me a thumbs up. But all in all, have a great day.